Hello you guys, welcome back to another story time on this here channel. Happy Black History Month, everybody. The shortest month of the year. Anyway, in honor of Black History Month, I have another story time for you guys. Growing up PWI. I have quite a few on this channel. If you know, you know. I have a whole video I made last Black History Month of different instances as a black person growing up PWI. Let me know if I should make it a playlist so it's easier for you guys to find. But yeah, this is another one that I'm sure some of my other people can relate to. So let's just get into this unserious story. This story dates back to high school. Yes, 2016 was the year. I can't believe that was 10 years ago, guys. That's crazy. Anyways, I started high school in 2016. I remember my freshman year, I made a lot of friends. So like my whole life had been PWI, which you guys don't know what that stands for, predominantly white institution, when you went to mostly schools and stuff like that. But I think definitely when I went from elementary to middle school to high school, there was definitely more black girls that I was able to make friends with and mingle with. But yeah, I'm from Southern California. Most of the schools I went to, mainly everybody was white or Mexican. Like I literally remember I seen a picture of myself in my 5th grade class the other day. I'm like, that's crazy. I stand out so much. It's just me, the only black person. I want to say like a couple Mexican kids, like one Asian kid, me, and then everybody else is white. But in high school, I feel like it filtered out because, you know, more kids from more sides of town come in. There's only 2 high schools, right? So in high school, I was definitely able to find more of my people, but we were still very scarce, right? Which is fine. I grew up having white homegirls, Mexican homegirls, Asian homegirls, all the things. But you know, one thing that starts, well, for some people, it starts in elementary. Like if you watch that video with my best friend, if you know, you know. But to me, I feel like microaggressions really started for me in middle school. People touching my hair, people saying weird things, stuff like that. But of course, it gets worse in high school because in high school, they get bold, right? In high school, like I said, in Southern California, it's not very uncommon to hear people who don't look nothing like me saying a word that starts with N and ends with A. White people, Mexican people, Asian people, like especially like I said, when there's a scarcity of black people, right? Not very uncommon in Southern California. But you know, I've always never really been okay with it. But you know, like when you're younger, when you're like a kid, you have to slowly find your voice and like choose your battles and figure out when you want to say something. So in high school, I started hearing that a lot more. And I remember when I got to high school, I made friends with this girl. We're going to call her Daisy. She was like a class friend. Like I met her in class. I thought she was cool. For a description, she was a pale Mexican girl, right? Her, because it's gonna matter later on. So I want to say our friendship was pretty normal. Like she never really said anything weird to me. Y'all know sometimes it just slowly starts to show the more and more they get comfortable and trying to see what kind of black person you are to push. Like I remember one thing I did start to notice after being friends with this girl for years. I feel like I never heard her drop with me in person, but she was one of those people where I was like, like on her stories, she would type it out and like use it to comment and stuff like that. Clutching my pearls, right? But again, I'm a young kid. If that was me now, well, I would say if that was me now, I'm most likely bound to confront someone I know, or I'll just block you and never speak to you again, because play with your mama, don't play with me. Like I've done that to a few people now. Like, what? And they always back down, because exactly. But back then, I'm like 14. And so I see it and I kind of just ignore it, because I don't think I've ever heard her say it around me. Probably because she's scared. You know, like I said, they like to test their limits, but I definitely saw she was a user online. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like I said, she was a class friend. We weren't close, nothing like that. But again, when I'm in high school, I'm hanging out with more black girls. I'm finding my voice more. You know, I used to be an avid Snapchat poster. I used to, y'all know in 2020 when everyone started acting like they cared and started posting stories and la la and you know, all of that. I've been that girl since 2016 when I had social media. I was always posting articles I seen of injustices, stuff like that. Yeah, I was doing that before it was a trend. So I used to do that or just post stuff that I thought was relatable and stuff like that. And I remember one time I came across a meme because, of course, even though I'm not as confrontational as as I am now, it still spoke to me. It was just some meme where it was something about like it's crazy how non-black people say the N-word, but some probably something along like it's wrong for them to do it, but then they indulge in black culture or something like that. I remember, y'all, I have a whole nother story time of a different person in a different sense. Imagine some meme like that, right? Didn't say who, didn't specify a race, it just said non-black people. So I posted on my story, like, whatever. She was not the only person I've ever been around who's acted like that, but the shoe fits, baby. Where? No, but when I tell you guys, I wasn't thinking about this girl at all. I was just like so real because it's how I was feeling. I posted on my story. I get a Snapchat notification that someone slid up, guys. Who do you think slid up? So I see I got a Snapchat notification. What did I call this? I called her Daisy from Daisy. And it's something like, wow, really, Alicia? Yes. Really? 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 What do you mean? So it's something like that. I'm like, I'm just literally gonna say this verbatim because there's one specific point I remember she said, but it was basically I just got to arguing. It was like question mark, question mark. Yes, really what? That's how I feel. Cause what? Like I said, I wasn't as confrontational as I was back then, but still, what you gonna do about it? And so this girl just starts blowing my phone up with anger. You would think I called this girl out her name. I said a slur for her culture. She's blowing up my phone angry, saying I can't tell her what to say. First of all, did I tell you this or did I just post on my story and you felt targeted because you're racist and you use racial slurs? Like what? So she's like, really, Alicia? It's not that deep. I can say whatever I want. Who's gonna stop me? Like you're so weird for posting this. And I'm literally, I think I responded to her a couple times, like, I don't care, you're not black, and who are you to say what you could say about a slur used against me? Like, what, girl? I'm literally like, I don't care, you're not black, your opinion literally doesn't matter, how I feel. That's what I'm saying to all this. She is so mad that she can't use a racial slur. Guys, it's so funny. And it's so funny because, like I said, this is not uncommon. I'm from Southern California. A lot of Mexican people talk like this, or at least they choose who they want to say that about. But like I said, it's always like if the shoe fits, wear it. Like I said, I grew up and still to this day, I have tons of Mexican homegirls who would heart the post because they don't act like that. And they hate people who act like that too. And they would never fix their mouth to say. So it's just like, that's so crazy that you're so mad. It didn't say you specifically, but you know you and you know you ain't. And she's so mad. So she's blowing up my phone. Like, y'all know when Snapchat, the things just keep coming. And I remember like my parents were driving me home from practice or something like that. I'm just opening it, going out, opening it, going out. When I tell you this girl was messaging me for like up to an hour, being mad, being like, you can't tell me what. Right? But what really got me on. So I'm reading some of it, I'm not reading some of it, but one of the things she sends me is like a screenshot of something. And she's like, you want to tell me I can't say it because I'm not black? We live in America. It's literally freedom of speech. Look, this is the freedom of speech law. This sent me the freedom of speech right. Like, I've never seen that before. We're freshmen in high school. We take history classes. This is literally the history. Why did you think that was gonna? I was gonna be like, oh wow, you're so right, Daisy. You can say whatever you want. You can call me slurs if you want to. Yeah. And see, what gets me about this whole N-word conversation, even to this day, is I'm like, yeah, I am a little thankful for 2020 because now some people watch their mouth, or they know, at least a lot of people know not to say it in front of me. But why do racist people who want to use our slurs so bad? First of all, let me clock something. As a person who, I understand a lot of black people feel this way. I don't think I would do it, but it's so crazy. I've seen videos like that Drewski video where everyone, non-black people, always want to use my slur, and then they get super offended and want to beat you up if you say their slur. Like, I saw a video of Drewski telling some people not to say that, and then he said a slur back to them, and they said, whoa, hey, hey. You guys don't take black people's pain seriously, right? And then I also had come across this video, some of you guys liked it, on my story, where I'm like, why do people think that freedom of speech means freedom of consequences? I saw this video where this guy called a black man that in a conversation with him, some MAGA, and he shoved him down to the ground. His phone went flying. This man went flying against a wall. And yeah, the black man was screaming all up in his face, and he looked real scared and timid. And why do you guys why do you guys think like, okay, yeah, freedom of speech, you ain't freedom from these consequences, so watch out. So anyway, I'm literally crying, laughing. Like, I think I literally told my friends, like, this really sent the freedom of speech as to why it's her right to say a racial slur. Like, I just think it's so funny. So yeah, this girl is just going in on me for like an hour. I'm just ignoring everything she said, probably making her feel more insane, as you should, right? So I know you guys want to know, like, she was literally a class friend. So how does this story end, Alicia? So I did have school the next day, and was I scared? Not one bit, because what are you going to do? And what do you think happened the next day at school? She didn't do She just stopped talking to me. She didn't mad dog me. She didn't ask me why I, because then I mentioned, like, I just unadded her because I was tired of hearing her stuff, like, your silence. But yeah, she didn't mad dog me. She didn't ask me why I added her. She didn't ask me why I wasn't responding. Nothing. She just stayed away from me and never spoke to me again. And that's the way I like it. Because, like, you would think, see, this is what I'm saying. I'm so different now. Because I'm like, as a kid, I really, like, I just let it go. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, like, she knew not to say anything to me. I'm like, just because I unadded you over the net, it would not be over when I sent you in person. In person, I'll probably go right up to her and tell her to say it to me right now. Say it to me right now. Because you said it's freedom of speech. Ah! And I'm not even a fighter like that, guys. I told you guys, like, the story times of when I've been in a fight. But black people are tired. Like, that's literally what I would do. And I bet she wouldn't do anything. But if she did, I think you guys could guess what I would do. So what brings the whole story full circle, right? What brings the whole story full circle is, I remember, like, I unadded her on Snapchat, I unfollowed her on stuff. I just never spoke to her again. And like I said, did she try me in person? Of course not. Did I ever hear her say it in person? Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Like I said, y'all, like, I was, like, such a nice, like, less confrontational, depending on what era in high school. But also, like I said, I'm a tall black girl going to PWI. So it's, like, crazy how many times, I think I told you guys in my undercover hater story time, another girl, this white who said the N-word, was trying to argue with me. Like, it's like, they will try to argue with me and stuff on Snapchat, but you see my tall ass in school, and what you do? Nothing. You don't mad dog me. You don't try to talk to me about it in person. Like, yeah, keep it that way. So I remember, of course, like I said, in 2020, when everyone started to care about black people, and oh my gosh, wow, this is really wrong. I just remember there were some people in my head that I thought about how they treated me and how they treat black people and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to see if they're one of those people who acted like it's a whole 360 now because they're forced to care. So Daisy is one of those people. I go to her Instagram and I'm like, I wonder if she's posting something. Because there were some people at my school too who were acting crazy, who were on that all lives matter, not just... Yeah, so it was a mix of people starting to switch and perform, and then it was also a mix of people, like I said, who were standing 10 toes down on the net, but would never say that to me in person. So I type in Daisy. She's not hard to find. Like, I'm sure other people from my school still followed her. And what do you think I see? I see a black square, Blackout Tuesday, BLM. I see reposts of, we need to appreciate black people like we appreciate, like, shame on you if you've ever said that. Not stuff like that she typed out, but like, you know, when everybody all of a sudden started reposting and posting black squares and showing their solidarity. Oh. Oh. And see, this is why when it comes to this topic, as you guys know, I'm not afraid to be perceived as a black woman who can't let things go, or black women are always complaining. I don't care. They're going to say that about us anyway. This is why I have a bone to pick with 2020 and the people like that. I know just like that who acted like that and then they want to switch up. Is because there is specific people who I remember from high school, from growing up, who would say the N-word, be fetishizy, be weird, be microaggressive. And like I said, instead of firing on them, like I probably would now, because just know better now at 23 years old. Like, I'm not knocking, you know, I'm not trying to knock the whole, like, everyone should know this. Because, no, not everyone knows, like, certain things when they're younger. But, I mean, you should know the difference between racism. Hello. But as a person, like, as a kid back then, I had the patience to be like, this is wrong, and this is why it's wrong, and this is why it's hurtful. And, like, specifically Daisy and other people I know, they said they didn't care, and they kept doing it, and they all that after a black person, a black woman just explained, just broke it down for you, and you said, I don't care, because you want to do what you want. But in 2020, now all of a sudden, I'm going to change my ways, and I'm going to post a black square, and I'm going to do all this, because wow, because what? No, not because you're changed, because you're afraid of public pressure. Because now, if I was still in high school after 2020, now it's not just, oh, Alicia's not okay with it and I have to watch what I say around Alicia. No, now it's a lot of people might call you out, and even other white people or other Mexican people, or like the majority might call you out, might cancel you. You might not be able to get this job if you talk like this. That's why people switched up, and that's why they started caring. Not because they actually care about people who they knew personally who told them stories. That's why with just like that, that's what I'm saying. It's just laughable. Like, oh, so 4 years ago, you were going in on me telling me why it's your right to say a racial slur and that you have freedom of speech. And now you're posting that, oh, no one should act like that, but you didn't care when a black person you knew in real life told you that? You. Oh my God, y'all. I have a story time from a couple months ago called The Worst Apology. And this was about this MAGA bitch from my high school who acted like she had a little switch up in 2020. I don't think it was real though. 2. But yeah, guys, isn't that insane? Imagine someone going in on me, blowing up my phone for a whole hour because they think they have a right to use a slur. Yep. And you guys want to say, oh, it's like when black people who grow up in or people of color grow up in areas where not a lot of people look like them, and people say it's not that deep and all that. Yes, it is that deep. A white student doesn't have to deal with that. Like, please. But yeah, guys, that is my story. That is my story. Part of my story. Part of the reason, well, like I said, I've always been woke, but experiences like that shape you. And I'm sorry if you're another young black girl like me or young marginalized person who has to deal with people like that. My advice is to stand 10 toes down if it's safe, if it's going to be safe for you in that environment, and find your voice at the right time. Because like I said, now, if that was me to say, I would have ran up to her in class and told her to say it to me in person. But 14-year-old Alicia just let it go. And she was still mad. So, happy Black History Month, I guess. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to another story time. Comment your thoughts. Comment if you can relate. I know some people can. And keep fighting. Like I said in my last video, my heart goes out to Minnesota. Pay attention to all the stories, not just the ones that are making headlines, because this issue is affecting all of us. It's affecting my community. It's affecting pretty much everyone, as we see. So keep fighting. Like I said, keep standing 10 toes down. You should be aligned with me if you're on this page. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to another story time. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.